Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Brokers Open Podcast. I'm Dr. Ben Spears, the Doctor of Flow. I'm here with the big guy as usual, Matt Vi. Matt, how's it going?
I'm doing, absolutely fantastic.
Fantastic.
Just like always.
Why'd I even ask?
I know, right?
Everybody always knows.
Everybody knows I'm fantastic.
Exactly right.
Man, we're like old men. We got to talk about the weather a little bit. We're in Clearwater, right? We've got a guest on today. She also has some incredible weather because she's right there on the beach in Georgia, one of my favorite places in the world. I'm not going to ruin anything else, Ben. I'll stop right there at that. But I'm doing absolutely fantastic. How are you, Benny?
Yeah, I'm lucky to have anything on other than swimming trunks in this weather because it's like 1,000 degrees.
Yeah.
Summer in Florida, guys. If you're listening to this in winter, in 2025, just know that we're sweating down here.
Right.
But it's all good. We love it. But let's bring on our guest. We have Carolyn Williams, the digital business card lady, the owner of For My Card, best business card on the planet. So that's what I've heard. And we're going to bring her on here and let her talk a little bit about, kind of what she does. But let's just say hello and see really and truly, how is her weather in Georgia? How's it going, Carolyn?
Very well. Thanks y'all very much. It's gorgeous. It's hot here too, but that's just like y'all. We like it like that. And I was raised in Broward County, so
okay.
I like it hot. I like heat and humidity.
Yep.
Very, very cool. So, guys, before we get started, wherever you're listening to this, hit that follow button or that subscribe button. Sorry, man, I was reaching for something. And so, Carolyn, I like to ask people, very thought-provoking questions at the beginning. And I like to guess, how did they get started? Right. So I'm imagining, you are, you were just born, right? You're in the nursery, you're like an hour old. All these babies are surrounding you, and you're like, I wish there was a way that I could connect with all these other babies and let them know, what it is that I'm planning on doing the rest of my life. And so you came up with For My Card. Did I kind of hit the nail on the head there, or it's a little bit different?
It's amazing. It's almost like you were there. Yeah. It's really not quite that, exactly that, but it's very close to that. I don't need an intervention, but I am a networker. I am a big time networker out there all the time and meeting wonderful people. And I was doing that for our printing company. So my husband said, I have an idea for you. Yeah, I was about to go to get all these things to pass out business cards when I was the president of the networking organization. And he said, just give me a day or two. And that afternoon he said, look at your phone. And there was a link to my business card on my phone. It looked like the front and back of my business card. I could touch it. It would call me. I could touch it. It would send me an email. And I was like, this is great. So we did that for that chapter. The visitors came. We would text them a page with all of our business cards on it, and we could update it. Then when I text it to the visitor, we could follow up. We'd have their contact information to follow up. So that was really great. It was our chapter became #1 in the region. And next thing you know, people are like, how do I get one? Mm-hmm. The hardest question was, how much does that cost? And I was like, let me get back to you. So that's really, it came from, it seems counterintuitive to be, you're out selling printing and you're not showing a printed business card. My husband just found that they were ineffective and wasteful. It would just make them feel sad when somebody bought a box, spent some money, and then came back before they could get through 25 of them to say there's been a change of some sort.
Right.
And then throw them all away.
Right.
So it was a way. It's just a smidge older than an hour, and it all came about.
Right. So that's killer. So tell us a little bit about about how the card is set up and how it works. Because I see a QR code behind you. Some people are watching this on YouTube. Some people are just listening to it. Some people are just listening to it as a podcast. But behind on your background, there's a QR code. I love QR codes, right?
Just Matt's favorite thing on the face of the earth.
And so because it's just an super easy way of connecting information with people and all that kind of stuff. So there's a QR code, but that's not the only way that people can get the information, correct? There's other ways that they can share it. Is that right?
That is right. The QR code has been the greatest comeback of all time. Most QR codes lead to one spot, one website, something out there on the internet. And that's so For My Card will go to many, 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 many places instead of just one thing. And then, yes, you can share it by text, email, have it in an email signature, put it on social media. There was a gentleman that was going to cancel his For My Card. Super nice. And this is how nice he was. He called and said, I don't think I'm going to cancel it unless you can tell me why not. I haven't really used it. I used it a little bit in the beginning and I just kind of forgot I even had it until I got, it came up for renewal. So let's check your analytics. Understand if you're not using it, how's it going to work for you? Opened up his analytics, which he has access. There were over 1,800 in users and clicks and visits to his For My Card. And he's like, wait, I only used it a few times. Does that mean other people are sharing it, or where the QR code was and people are finding me that way? And I said, apparently. And he said, never mind. Don't cancel it. So if it's working like that, and I'm not even behind the push to get it out there, I'm keeping it, and I'm going to pay more attention, more mindful of making sure people have it, because it's so easy to say. There's a button on each one that says add to contacts. So when those opportunities come up for referrals, we get those things planted in our brains for those buzzwords for our friends or our favorite professionals. Oh, I know a guy.
Right.
So that's it's super easy to share and safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the cool things that you just talked about was you were able to look at the analytics, right? Like, how many times can you track a business card, right? An old fashioned, I say old fashioned, right? Because, I'm young, right? I'm like 25, unless you're watching this on YouTube. And so an old fashioned business card, you just can't, right? It's like, how many times was that passed? Once it left the hands of one person and went to another, well, now only one person can hold it at a time. And so tell me a little bit about, how those metrics work, right? Like what analytics can you see? Is it just clicks? And that's okay, because that's kind of, the most important one of all of them. But, what is it that you see from those analytics?
You can see whether it's just the front, like just the first page kind of thing, as each individual part of the For My Card is clicked. So you have a ton of content.
Gotcha.
All of the social media people have. There's a mortgage fellow that bought his on a Friday evening, called us Saturday afternoon to say open house. He had 4 applications because he put that application on his For My Card, so that he was able to assist those people looking to buy. So it's yes, we can have all kinds of content on it. And you can see how people are looking at it that way.
I love that.
I will say one thing we don't do: we do not data mine. So for thing where you're going to text a word to a number, where we keep all that, then you're going to get the cell phone numbers and things. Because we come from the print world, and that you're looking to build something that kept that same interaction as close as possible as, but here's my card, and that professional expectations of what goes with that. And most of the times I don't put on a list or packaged and sold with my name and phone number.
Yeah.
So that was, we purposely didn't do that.
Yeah, that's killer. So tell us how a real estate agent uses it, right? What does a real estate agent do if they want to grow their business? How can they use this card to grow their business?
Yes, the realtors love it. So they put the QR code is downloadable, and it's a scalable vector file. So they can put it, we've done it on magnetics. We make banners that they have at their open houses or any type of events that they attend. So they use the heck out of the QR code. And the same thing too, they can, they're going to be at an open house, they can have a button, visit me this week, at this open house, and they can change it out. It's very simple to change where that button will go. So they can get some of them, people get very creative. They have, some are strictly looking for listings. So they have set up their business card to attract people that are sellers, and then same for the buyers. So that we get to learn so much from the people that are using For My Card.
Oh,
we had somebody call and tell us, I would like you to change this is back when we did all of it. Now people can do it, and we don't mind teaching them how to do it and working together. It's just a different platform. It's just new. So we'll have no problem. Call us as much as you want. The 800 number goes to our cell phones. But he called and he said, I'd like to change my email address to this one and get rid of my website and put my Facebook link in there. Like, okay. He said, yeah. well, that's where my testimonials are, and that's where my pictures are. And it saved him a chunk of money. And that's really nice for people, particularly when they're first starting out.
Mhm.
You know, marketing. Well, what's
Right.
what's a inexpensive way to market? And we purposely get, again, coming from the print world, keep the price less than a box of business cards.
Right. Yeah, I love that. That's so good. So, so they can, how do they upload their information into it? Do they go into like a page and they put their information in, and then it creates the card, or does it does it come directly from the MLS? How does the information get put into the system so that it's displayed whenever someone clicks the link or the URL or the QR code?
Onboarding is pretty simple, but again, we'll open Zoom and do it together. It's first, if you have the picture, a scan, or the art file, upload those for your business card. So it keeps the brand. That's another thing. For My Card really protects the brand. It's not everyone looks like another one.
Right.
They're all different. And then you add in, if you look at my For My Card, there's some blue buttons at the bottom, and you name them. You can name them anything you'd like, and you grab the URL and drop it in and save it. And then it'll create a button. And it's a lot. I prefer helping people onboard because they get so excited because it's kind of magical. You open up their URL where there's nothing there yet. And each time they refresh it, they can see what they've done.
Right.
And so it's fun.
Yeah, that's really cool. Matt, I wanna lean on you here for a second, right? You're a resident real estate expert
And non-phone turner down.
and non-phone silencer. That's okay, right? We don't
That's not okay.
we don't edit, so everybody just gets to hear it. So Matt,
Yep.
let's say you were a real estate agent, right? And you wanted to, you're like, yes, I'm so excited. I want to use For My Card. What are some of the things you would put on there?
Yeah, so she hit the big one, social. I'd absolutely put social. I'd put a link on there that says view my testimonials. I would also put a link on there because this is how I kind of look at stuff. But I'd put a link on there that goes to a YouTube video that says, this is how I help my buyers. And then one about, this is how I help my sellers. So if somebody clicked on that link, there'd be a quick video that says, hey, thank you so much for contemplating using me to put your property on the market. I have a 22-point marketing plan that I actually use. I've got a 7-point communication plan that I actually use. And I've got a service guarantee that makes sure that I deliver all of these things. If you would click on the link that's just below where you clicked on this link, you can get all of those things to review them right now to see if I'm the right agent to work with you. And so I'd have that kind of stuff on there, as well as, my contact information. Like I said, my social media, and I'd also have, I'm sure that has this, but a call me now button and things, things along that line, so that they can just click through to it. So they can just click through to that. The other thing that I would have on there is I would probably have something that if I was very involved in a networking group, right? We're big fans of Frank Hagan. I know you know Frank Hagan.
Absolutely.
We think he's awesome, right?
Wonderful.
So whether it was a networking group, or whether it was a community group, or whether it was a charity that I was involved with, maybe I love SPCA or whatever, I would have a button on there that is something like donate now, or join my networking group, or some other type of value that is just easy, simple, that shows that I'm connected with my community. And it's so important that in my contact card, there's the ability for the person to be connected with more than just me, more than just information about how I can help, but it would allow them to connect through that card with my community. I think if there was some way to put that on there, I would absolutely make sure that that was on there as well. So,
yeah, I love that. Do you have a lot of people who share videos and things with your For My Card?
Absolutely, yes. And there was an agent that she called to tell us that a client chose her because she had a For My Card. She was making all her appointments, coming into town, having her coffee appointments, and she said, "Because this is a big deal to me, and it's a process, and I want to make sure we click."
Yeah.
And she said, did all the phone interview, and then they had a set time for their coffee. And she said, "And I'll text you my business card." And when they hung up, she called her right back. She said, "I canceled all my other meetings. I want to work with somebody that's forward thinking like you." Thank you for that.
perfect.
And that's another thing. You can have your reviews on a button to go to the reviews. That's so important for agents.
Yep, absolutely. That helps everybody understand that what they're hearing on the phone, the promise that the person's making, has been delivered historically, and they have experience and are able to share that. It's just such a crucial part of that communication, especially with new clients.
Mhm. Yes, it's a lot. It's just a lot of fun hearing that other people, and that was the vision for our printing company. Let's help other people succeed and have their companies flourish.
Right.
And that's the same thing that transferred over to For My Card.
Yeah, one of my favorite things is that are a printing company, but that you're offering a digital product, which is phenomenal. The uses of a QR code, right, are just astronomical, off the charts. I used to laugh at Matt. I was like, QR codes, whatever. He's like, no, man, I love Q. As far as QR codes go on Matt's list, it's like QR codes, me, his family, George, something like that. I don't know. So I may be a little bit lower on that list.
You might be off a little bit there.
That's my guess. That's just my guess. Let's talk a little bit about just use cases of those QR codes. I know you've already touched a little bit on. You can put them on banners, and they can put them in different places. I want to expand on that because I really want people our listeners to understand. Gosh, like once you have these capabilities, there's so much more that you can do. It's not like, hey, I just I've got For My Card, and this is how I use it. I share this when I'm meeting someone one-on-one. Let's really kind of talk a little bit more about those use cases of QR codes or the ability to share the card. I'm sure you have those. And then I'm going to, I want Matt to follow up on this as well, because again, he's just done a lot of research on QR codes as well.
Well, imagine all of the places where agents are marketing themselves. I was thinking a kick when I pull a grocery cart out. I usually know the people that are on the advertising that's on a grocery cart. Take them because it helps them in their business, and just say, shopping with Libby today, that kind of thing. So they can use it in all of the other advertising. I don't know an agent that goes around town without a name tag. So they put it on their name tag.
Makes
it's
lots of
always available on their car signs, on their magnetics. It's wear it out. Any ad specialties, go on that. Coffee mugs and things like that. On and on.
Yeah, I met we interviewed an agent one time, and she partnered with her local coffee shop, and she said, if you if we can collaborate a little bit, all those brown cardboard containers that go on to kind of protect your hand from the heat, she said, I'll purchase all those. I'll put your logo on it if you'll let me put my logo on the other side of it, of course. And I'm just thinking, gosh, that would be a killer place to put this QR code as well. And it was just a great creative idea. And they absolutely just, loved and got a lot of business, both of them, out of that collaboration. Matt, expand a little bit more on that.
So I love that you mentioned the digital and you're still in print. I love that you're showing the importance in all these examples of those two things being tied together appropriately.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how important it is that people understand that it can't just be online and it can't just be print, but you also can't have the two of those completely independent of each other. They would actually at that point be working against each other, for lack of a better way of putting it. So what For My Card does, it sounds like, is it ties the print opportunity together with the digital opportunity in a way that increases interactivity, which that's fabulous. So those things being put together is super smart. So any house flyer, I would imagine that's on any house flyer that they've got out there. I would think that a cool thing would be, one of the buttons, because you said there's an endless amount of buttons, right? It doesn't run out of, okay. So one of the buttons could be view my listings, right? And so if you click on there, view my listings, then it goes to your real estate page that has MLS search that's always pushing that's always pushing that agent's listings to that page. So if it's automatically pushing them on there, then at any point, anybody that's got that can click on it and see what the listings are. But on your listing flyers, a huge one, my opinion, would be if you're going to send out postcards. Your geographically farming area, you just sold postcards, anything along that line, put the QR code on there so that somebody that could click on it. But the key thing, in my opinion, is having all of those things tied together with all of the rest of your marketing efforts. Do not make any marketing effort stand alone. You're worse off if the marketing effort is standing alone, instead of it being a way of making it mesh with all the other efforts of what you're doing. So am I missing something?
It's 1,000%. And it keeps that money that you paid into that marketing, it can keep it fresh. So the QR code is going to go to the For My Card, but the For My Card's updatable.
Mhm.
So when they find something that from a phone book in a drawer, someplace, and they hit that QR code, it's going to be today's information, not from whatever year that was printed.
Yeah. Dynamic QR code versus a static QR code. Yeah, that's so killer.
Yeah,
So-
that is such a great point, because there's so much marketing, especially with agents, right? Because, some agents aren't even with the same brokerage that they were maybe when they first, had some business cards or the sign or whatever, that they made, or, their yard signs and banners and name tags, all these kind of things. Whereas that QR code can just flow with you.
Business cards, flyers, name badges, all of that's just no good at that point anymore. But the QR code at that point is still good. That's just so killer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
they've done a lot for that turnover, or people leave markets and they have boxes of business cards. Well, now you can just go in. Imagine if you could do that with a box of business cards. I switched brokerage and just change it out.
I can't tell you how many boxes or half boxes of business cards I threw away in 25 years. I can't even begin to tell you.
Somebody sent me a picture of a sidewalk in Manhattan, these giant garbage bags, and they were all stuffed with business cards, and some of them were spilling out onto the street. She's like, I couldn't walk by this and not think of you.
And you can beat all that with one For My Card.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well, Carolyn, I want to make sure, I definitely want to say thank you again for Frank Agan for getting us in contact with you. I want to make sure that all of our agents know, number one, how do they get connected with you? Number two, right? What's the next step? Like if they wanted to learn more about For My Card.
Thanks. Yeah, the QR code, and I can give you a link to my For My Card.
Perfect.
We take the calls personally. There's the 800 number on the website. It goes to one of our cell phones. And I promise this to people that you can't drive us crazy with questions. It's fine. It's all good. I worked with a lady for 10 days straight through text, Zoom, and phone calls. And each day she usually started the conversation, well, I'm not techie. And I said, well, we're going to stop saying that because we met through tech. That's how we met. And watch what you're doing. And you did it. And you can do more. And so she wanted everything. I want to learn one of those keyboard shortcuts. Show me how to do that. So it was very fun to get to meet people, keep them in our mental, Rolodex too.
Absolutely.
And referrals their way too.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, guys, as always, I'll put that in the description below. Matt, I want to thank you for being here.
Well, you're welcome, Ben.
And most importantly, I want to thank Carolyn for being here.
That is most important.
The digital business card lady.
Mm-hmm.
And so, guys, I'm going to put a little bow on this. If you're watching this on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, any of those platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. If you're watching us on YouTube, hey, how's it going? Make sure you hit that red subscribe button, that bell right beside of it. Get notified every time we drop a new episode. Matt, it's Brokers Open Podcast, man. It's not just about open houses.
It's about open minds.